Welcome everyone to Sudbury Talks with Gwen Price, and I'm running a series for Women's History Month, getting to know more about some women in business here in Sudbury. And one of them is my friend Louise Essiembre, who is an insurance agent here in Sudbury. Hi, Louise.
Hi, Gwen. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we want to get to know a little bit more about women and their businesses, what they do. And I know that you're an insurance agent. Tell us a bit about that, but I know there's more to that for Louise.
Yeah, so I've been selling insurance now for a little over 10 years. So I started off with both personal and commercial insurance. And then I transitioned more in a commercial insurance role to eventually now at this new brokerage. It's a one-stop shop. So I'm selling personal, commercial, as well as travel insurance.
And which company is it that you're with now?
I'm with Billyard Insurance Group here in Sudbury.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, so it sort of, yeah, you've got a little bit more options for your clients in terms of what type of insurance you can offer. And I know we recently talked about travel insurance and all that sort of good stuff. But yes, it's always good to check every now and then about your policies, isn't it? Because things change and insurance companies have different requirements over time. It isn't the same as it was 10, 20 years ago. It changes as the world changes.
Exactly. And the insurance market these days are a little tougher. Underwriting rules are changing almost, sometimes every month, depending on what they're looking for at the time. So it's really, really important to make sure you review your policies and make sure that you have the proper coverage. Because again, if you don't review your policies every couple of years at least, so many life changes occurs, and you may not realize that there's certain coverages that you may need on the policy. And specifically as well, like for commercial insurance, a business grows every year, so the revenues grow every year. Employees are added, vehicles are changed, and sometimes operations are amended as well. So it's really, really important that you talk to your broker to make sure that you have the proper coverage on your policies.
And yeah, I mean, and liability issues, right? Even for your homeowners insurance, I think years ago, might have been like 500,000 coverage, but of course, as things have changed and people get injured, it costs much more money. So you have to take that into consideration too when you're looking at your policies, increasing the coverage.
Exactly, yes. And these days, we don't recommend anything under 2 million for liability coverage, both on the vehicles as well as the property, for those reasons. Because in this day and age, a lawsuit can go from like 1.3 to 1.6 million, depending on the injuries and whatnot. So it's really, really important to have sufficient liability, because if the payout ends up being more than what your liability coverage is for, then the client will end up having to pay out of pocket.
And that's kind of scary, especially when some serious vehicle accidents can be catastrophic and
Yeah.
long-term implications for everybody involved, right? Well, that's
Mhm.
great. But like, are you a local girl? Were you born and raised in this Sudbury area, or?
I've actually, I was born in Sturgeon Falls actually, and I was raised in Kapuskasing.
Well, you're a
So,
northern girl, that's for sure.
oh yes, oh yes.
Which I think
um,
is important too, because you understand we are a little different north of Perry Sound up here. We've got different issues for sure. And in terms of insurance coverage, right? It's different.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I know insurance isn't everything in your life. Tell us a bit about some of the other things you're involved in.
Well, I'm actually a school board trustee for the Conseil scolaire catholique Nous-Vallons, and I just started my third term. And so I'm really excited about that. It's such a great experience. And I'm also part of the Crime Stoppers Board as their first vice president. So I've been, I was elected vice president in 2018. And so I've been part of the board, I believe, since 2017. So that as well, it's a great experience just to give back to your community and help to make your community safer. So what we do actually at Crime Stoppers is we raise funds for rewards, to pay out rewards for anonymous callers that calls in for tips to report a crime. And one thing actually with Crime Stoppers, what a lot of people may not know is that it's completely separate from the Greater Sudbury Police. Yes, they are a partner, but we are completely separate. So that's why, and when callers do call in, it's 100% anonymous. Like we don't, the coordinators don't even know their name. Essentially what happens when somebody calls in, they're given a number, and afterwards, later on, they can call back in to see if their number was eligible for a reward. And we choose a place somewhere in the city. Sometimes it's a library. There's all different kinds of all different types of places where the tipsters can anonymously go pick up their check for the rewards. But something that's really fascinating is oftentimes we don't even pay out the reward because, well, we'll pay out, but I mean, the tipster won't even collect the reward because they just wanted to do the right thing and report the crime. So there's quite a bit of uncollected rewards.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's interesting because I really didn't know that either. And I guess people, yeah, especially for some crimes in particular, you really want to make sure that it's anonymous, right? And that's good to know that that has that level of security to for so your name isn't broadcasted all over the social media saying, oh yeah, you rat, you turned this guy in or whatever. But that's good to know how that works because I mean, luckily I've never had to have to report anything, but you just never know. That's good. So yeah, you're you're quite involved with the school board. You ever thinking of running in politics for outside of the school board?
Maybe one day. I think that my schedule at this time, especially with my full-time employment, is that keeps me really busy. But maybe in the future, it's definitely something I might consider. But right now, I mean, I'm just going to benefit from all the great mentors that I have around me that are part of the political table at the school board, and just absorb all the knowledge that I can, and see where my political career takes me.
Yeah, well, that's great. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I really enjoy talking to you at any time about any topic, and this is really interesting information. And I will post your contact information if somebody wants to check out, get their policies reviewed, and then also the Crime Stoppers link in that too. I will put that on there too. So very good.
Sounds
Well,
great. Thank you, Gwen.
well, I know you're always busy, but I appreciate you making time to talk about this because I want to celebrate women in business, and you're a good representative here in Sudbury. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Gwen. I appreciate it.
Take care.